All right, we are live. Are you a fan of pro wrestling, comedy, and combat sports? Then we have the podcast for you because we cover that and much, much more.
Do you like to debate with your friends? Do we have the perfect segment for you? It's the 531, where we take any given subject, break it down to a top 5. From there, we debate it down to 3, and then into that number 1 spot.
If you want to get a hold of us, find us on our social medias. Search Working Fans Podcast on any major social media platform. And if you want to find the podcast, search for us on any major podcast platform, as well as YouTube.
Working Fans Podcast. We put in the work so you don't have to.
We are live, baby. So, Chevarooney, I'm feeling a little better. You're feeling a little better. I think it's the first time we're maybe not quite 100%, but we're about 80, 90. We're getting there.
We're alive.
We're alive, baby. I don't know if we're kicking ass, but we're alive. So before we get started, I mean, we're just going to basically be talking some UFC 270 this weekend. But why don't you tell everybody what we got in that schedule?
All right, so next week, January 29th, we're going to be doing best boxers of the 90s. So get those lists in for that. It's another good era of boxing. So, and then February 5th, we're going to be talking about UFC Fight Night Hermanson versus Strickland. It's going to be a fireworks fight, I think. Strickland is insane. And then we're the next week on February 12th, we're going to be talking about the next UFC pay-per-view, 271 Adesanya versus Whitaker, the rematch. Got some hot takes on that one, so we'll see when we get to that one.
We're talking about that a little bit. That's going to be a hell of a fight. I'm excited for that one. Whitaker's. If you think Whitaker just got punked out the last one, I wouldn't necessarily assume that's going to be the same thing this time. Not to say he's going to win or lose. We'll talk about it, but yeah, expect that fight to. I'm going to say that's going to go a lot differently this time.
I think so too.
Yeah. UFC 270, man. We were talking about before, a lot of injuries and stuff happening here. Right now, it looks like a 4-fight main card. That could change. But as we're recording this, that's what we got. The first fight I got is Said Nurmagomedov. I didn't even look. Is this guy related to Habib, or is he just got that similar last name?
Probably. Maybe it's his cousin or something. I don't know. He has a lot of relatives, or
kind of like the Samoan dynasty in wrestling. Yeah,
yep.
Rock and Roman and all these guys are related. Yeah, and they're all dangerous.
Super dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah. This guy, I was just looking like in the UFC. He's 3-1, and he's got 1 decision loss. He's got a World Fighting Combat Championship. Ahmed was the promotion, so regional promotion out there. Overall, he's 14-2. He's taking on Cody Stamen. Stamen is coming off 2 losses to Jimmy Rivera and Merab. No shame in that at all.
Right. Merab he's a tough out for sure.
Yeah, Cody's been in this game for a while though. At this point now, 19-4. He had won his first 3 UFC fights. Then he lost to Sterling. Then he got to win Alejandro Perez, and then it was a majority draw with Song Ladong. Beat Brian Kellner, and then 2 losses. So these guys are probably evenly matched. I don't know what you're looking for here. I just think, based off the fact I've seen Stamen before, but I don't know. It seems like he's a little susceptible to wrestling sometimes, and guy's got the last name Nurmagomedov. So I don't know. I'm just gonna take a guess here. I think Said Nurmagomedov by decision. What do you got going on this one?
Nurmagomedov has a varied attack. His finishes. He has submissions. He has knockouts. He has decisions. So he can go the distance. I'm just gonna go with him. Cody's kind of fallen on hard times. I think, yeah, like you said, it's 2 wins in his last 6. So 2 wins, 3 losses, and a draw, majority draw. So
Yeah.
hopefully he can pick himself up and get this win. But I'm gonna go with Nurmagomedov
Okay.
by decision.
Yeah, I think we're going to agree on that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Great opportunity for these guys to be on the undercard of the heavyweight championship of the world. So,
and first UFC, you have pay-per-view in a while now. Feels like forever anyway. Without, it's been a few weeks.
Yeah, we're starving. Andre Fialho. I hope I'm saying that right. He's Portuguese. Joe's probably like listening to this.
I have no idea. I can't help you out with that one.
Yeah, when he edits this, he's taking on Michel Pereira. This guy is 14-3. He's making his UFC debut. He's got 4 wins, all within the last year, and all finishes, it appeared to be. So he's going to get to step up against Pereira. Now, Pereira, on the other hand, he's 26-11-2, so far more fights. He's on a 3-fight win streak. He's got wins over Nico Price and Chaos Williams. Mm-hmm. So his competition's pretty good. He had a couple early struggles in the UFC, mainly because he's a little wild, a little crazy. This guy
super wild.
This guy will do cartwheels in the middle of a fight. This guy will do capoeira kicks. He tried
to do a backflip onto Nico Price while he was gonna like moonsault him while he was on the ground. So,
insane. This guy tries to bring.
Watch.
Yeah, this guy tries to bring professional wrestling and stuff you would see in a video game and an actual MMA fight. This should be entertaining. I think if nothing else, we'll see. The gentleman's name again is
Andre.
Yeah, he's got quite an opponent for his first fight out. We'll see how he does. Based on big fight experience, I'm going to have to go with Pereira. He's just got experience overall too. I'll say Pereira gets it done. This guy's got this is his first octagon fight too. I think he's going to bring it though, based on his last 4 fights. And I just think they're going to bring it. So my guess is if they're both going to bring it, I like Pereira. I like a finish. I'm going to go round 1.
Yeah, I think this could be fight of the night if, we weren't seeing the heavyweight world championship as the main event.
Yeah.
And also, the co-main was fight of the year maybe a couple of years ago. So I guess it's some stiff competition, but I think this will be an exciting fight. I think that Andre is going to come out and stun Pereira when Pereira gets tired in like the second round. So if you can avoid some flying knee or some crazy cage, Showtime kick or capoeira, something, I think he's going to get a knockout, a TKO finish. Pereira has done better recently with kind of reining those in and not, that being his only attack. He kind of reins him in so he doesn't get tired as quickly. But I think with someone so willing to go to war with him, it's going to bring it out of him and that'll tire him out. So I'm going to go with Andre, round 2 finish via TKO.
Okay, there you go. And we're already at the Kona main event because right now it looks like a 4-fight main card. We got Davison Figueiredo, or as one of our friends calls him, Devious Ferguson.
Yep.
He's fighting Brandon Moreno for the flyweight title. This is the 3rd fight in a row for these guys. Their first fight, like Chevy was like fight of the year candidate. The second fight, also an amazing fight, but Brandon Moreno comes back after having a draw and has this unbelievable performance and wins the title. And by the way, David said before this, he looked unstoppable. So it's very interesting as these guys come ahead here. Figueiredo before this, his overall record is 20 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. That draw Moreno. He's beaten Benavidez, Tim Elliott. Like, this is some of the best.
He was knocking those people out too. He looked like the Ngannou of the flyweights.
Yeah.
So.
And he had issues making weight at one point, but his last couple of times he hasn't had that issue. And then Moreno is just a guy that's steadily improved. He had some struggles early on here and there, But
He actually got cut at one point.
Yeah. And man, he just he came back to the UFC. Looks like he had a draw. Then he beat Kai France, Formiga, Brandon Royal. And I think when he fought Figueiredo, I think it was somebody we liked, but we didn't think, oh, this guy can beat Figueiredo. And then they had to draw, and it was like so close, and we wanted to see it again. But if you remember, there was like a low blow or something in that fight too, where there was a point deduction. So we're like, oh, Brandon was probably even lucky to get that draw, even though it was great. And then bam, he comes out like a man possessed in that last fight. I cannot stress this enough. I'll even send this message to producer Joe, who might watch this with us this weekend, right? And Joe, this is for you and any other fan. If you're a casual and you're gonna watch this should be a fucking insane fight. Like, it's high skill. These guys are quick. They're
never gonna get tired.
They never get tired. They're gonna wrestle. They're gonna brawl. They're gonna constantly be moving. They're gonna be looking for submissions. If you want to show somebody just a great technical aspect of MMA, this is the fight you show them. This should be outstanding. Moreno has made such improvements in that last fight, and he continues to make these incredible improvements. I can't bet against him right now. I'm going to say he wins it. I'm not going to say he gets to finish necessarily. I could see it because he's making this kind of crazy improvements, but Davidson Figueiredo is so good. I'm going to say it's a 5-round war and Moreno wins it.
If we see the same Moreno that we saw in that second fight, I think he's going to choke him out even sooner than he did in the last fight. I'm going to say he's going to catch him in some sort of scramble. Say second round submission for Moreno. So with that being said, I think Figueiredo was leaning so much on his power before because he had just been knocking everyone out. I think he realized that, Brandon wasn't just going to get knocked out with that one punch power that he has. So maybe you see a slightly different game plan. He comes in, he's not just throwing all power punches. You could see something different. I think he would do better, but I'm still going to go with Moreno round 2 submission just because he looked like a world beater for sure. He looked like he deserves to be the champ.
Okay. Now we are at the main event already. Randy Osga asking in the comments, will we see a knockout in the main event? Randy, I'm going to answer that before I even tell you who I think is going to win. Yes, we will see a knockout. I don't think this is going to decision. So Cyril Gane, let's start off with him, the challenger. 13-0 Muay Thai record. 10-0 as an MMA fighter. He has been in the UFC. He got in the UFC early. It was only he only had 3 fights. It's 4th fight he was in the UFC. So he's 7-0. But if you look at the guys he's beaten in his last couple fights, it's JDS, Rosenstruck, Volkov, and Derek Lewis, who he TKO'd.
And a former training partner of Francis too. So he has inside information on Francis.
Yeah, this guy's super talented. He's super talented and very technical for a heavyweight. And I think that's going to play a factor. But my God, Francis Ngannou, like probably the greatest power puncher of all time in MMA, arguably. This guy knocks out Stipe Miocic his last fight. That was round 2. Then it's Rosenstruck, Dos Santos, Velasquez, Curtis Blades, all 1-round knockouts. Some of them like 30 seconds. Insane power. Of course, the interesting storyline going into this is Ngannou's last fight. Win, lose, or draw. He wants out of the UFC, and he wants to box Tyson Fury. My God, what an interesting storyline to be leaving with a belt potentially, and he's got the tools to do it because he's got what I believe it's Freddie Roach likes to call the eraser. All right, he can make all those mistakes, but he's got that one little power punch that can erase all those mistakes. Okay, so that being said, knowing what they bring to the table, that ungodly power to me makes Francis the favorite. I'm going to contradict myself, and I'm going to go with Cyril Gane because I think Gane, unlike a lot of his other opponents, is smart enough to try to avoid that. And I shouldn't say is smart, skilled enough. And he'll have a different game plan than a lot of these other guys will. So we'll see. But the last Francis was also used in wrestling and stuff during that fight with Stipe. God, man. All right, fuck it. I talked myself out of it. I got to go with Francis. I'll go Francis. Round 2, maybe round 3. I think Cyril Gane is going to make this a fight. He might even win it because if he extends this to round 3, round 4, it's not like Ngannou's had a lot of octagon time. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'll go Francis, round 2 TKO.
Valid points with Gane's probably. I mean, not probably. He is the most technical heavyweight on the roster for sure. And he probably will try to keep it at a range that is outside of Francis's, blitzing, power punching, danger zone, basically. And he can attack his legs and, jab him. And he has great footwork, especially for a heavyweight. The best heavyweight footwork in the UFC for sure. I haven't seen Francis working with Usman like he was before the Stipe fights, on social media or anything. So I don't know if he's going to be trying to implement that wrestling. I actually think that would be a detriment to him because Gane is actually capable on the ground. So if they get in a scramble on the ground, it's possible that Gane locks up another knee bar or something. So I think Francis is going to try to keep it standing. I think is this fight at the Apex? Do we know? If it's at the Apex, I'm definitely going with Francis. That tiny octagon, Cyril's not going to be able to get away.
It's a good point, man.
He's going to cut him off, and they're so big that it's 2 steps and you're to the other side of the octagon. So I think he just catches him in the first round. He's going to be aggressive in the first round. If it doesn't work, maybe he, goes to a more mild game plan later on in the fight and tries to pick his shots. But I think in the beginning, he's going to try to blitz him. It's not. Where is it at?
It's Hondo Center, Anaheim, California.
Anaheim. Okay. So it will be a slightly bigger octagon. So, I'm still going to go with Francis round 1, knocks him out. Leaves the UFC with the belt, goes into boxing, gets knocked out by Tyson Fury.
Although, to your point, the UFC 260 where he won the title was at the Apex. Mm-hmm. So it is interesting.
We're running that tiny Apex octagon.
Yeah, we'll see. You know what? Just to disagree, so we'll have a little bit of I think we've only disagreed on one fight. I will take Gane. I'm going to backtrack. I'm going to go Gane. I say he gets to finish round 4.
I guarantee the UFC does not want Francis to win this. They don't want him to win the belt or keep the belt and then leave. Because I don't think they really have any chance to keep him at this point unless they want to pay him way more than they're paying any other fighter minus Conor.
Yeah. So they weren't going to put this in Apex. They're going to try to do any little thing they can.
Anything they can. So we didn't talk about this before, but I don't know the exact date, but I'm pretty sure that Khabib's promotion is also going to be fighting soon. So we'll have to look into that, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be free. It's just an app you download and you get to watch it for free. So I would definitely be interested in watching Khabib's promotion. See, there'll be no ring girls, so that might be different, but we'll see.
Some questions in the comments here. Randy Osga, screw job finish. Randy, if they can, they will. I don't know if they can. Does Francis leave with the belt? Well, Chevy's saying he will. I'm saying he won't, but I think we both know there's a real high risk that does happen. Is there any truth to Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul? I don't know.
Who knows?
More on that.
Who knows?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. And do we think there'll be a UFC show in Connecticut or Rhode Island? I hope so. There was a UFC show at Foxwoods. I think it was like 2014. That was the last one.
I just
So,
don't think the arenas are big enough in Connecticut at this point.
yeah. I mean, they could do something at Mohegan or Foxwoods, but Bellator seems to have the lock on Mohegan, and they've only done that one Foxwoods cards in 8 years. So there's got to be a reason for that. I wouldn't be familiar why, but it doesn't look like we're going to get a lot of stuff here. And is the top boxers of the 90s list next? Yes, Randy, we said that at the beginning of the show. That will be next week. We'll be talking top boxers, but of the 90s. But before we get out of here, Amanda Nunes leaving her team.
ATT.
Yeah. Very interesting when somebody does this, especially coming after a big loss, and she wants to start her own team. So I don't hate on her for this, but I definitely wonder if this is like a good decision. Yeah. So I'll get your opinion on this. I'll just ask you this too. So rematch with Pena, and now she's not going to have her team. She's going to start her own team. How you feel going into this fight now? Has it changed your mind at all?
Yes. So, are any of the coaches coming with her? You know, these are some things that I need to know first. Like, you know, is Dean Thomas going to be continuing to work with her? You know, is she still going to be seeing what training partners is she going to have now? I'm thinking more from a business point of view. I'm thinking maybe she's just trying to start a new team before she retires while she still has name value so she can build something to, you know, some form of income when she is retired, because what's she going to do after this? You know, she doesn't make enough money where that's, you know, where she doesn't have to think about that because this is the UFC. So
not many people get that Ronda Rousey money.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that she just wants to set herself up for, you know, to continue to make money after she retires. So hopefully she can get the training partner she needs and stuff like that, and, you know, the proper training. But this definitely puts a seed of doubt in my mind of whether or not she's going to be able to beat Pena in a rematch.
Yeah. I mean, to me that was a little bit there anyway, but I would have favored Nunes still. But yeah, now this kind of gives it a little more of a switch. Not necessarily that still can't rule out Amanda Nunes ever, but it definitely makes you wonder a little more. It's almost like if you're lining up the check marks, like, oh, there's another one for Pena right now. So
right.
I am more intrigued now in this fight. It's like, because here's another question, right? You give me more questions, and now I'm excited. Like, okay, what's going to happen here?
The ATT is a very large team, so maybe she thought she wasn't getting the proper like one-on-one. I know a lot of people complain about that at those big teams, that they're not, you know, you're not the main person that all the training is getting focused on and everything.
Look,
you would think, you know, being the women's, you know, GOAT, that she would be getting all the training and attention that she thinks she needs, but maybe that was, I don't know why she left, but that is a possible reason. So
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you know, a lot of, like, look at these camps too, like Trevor Whitman and Justin Gaethje and Rose Namajunas and Usman. Like, that's just it. He's concentrating on like 3 fighters, right? And it was only just one for a while, and now it's 3, and the other 2 have kind of worked with each other to make each other even better. So it's really smart. It's really strategic how they do it, and yeah. So I get it.
It's a real team, you know. When you're that small and you can all work together, and, you know, there is enough focus for everyone. But when you get to ATT, they have, you know, 100 fighters or however many. You know, there's no way that you're getting to work with, you know, the top. You know, Mikey Brown does not get to work with every single one of those fighters for all their fights. So, you know, you get great facilities and access to great training partners, but not the best, one-on-one with your coaches, I would assume. So
Yeah, it might be, like you said, more of a business idea.
that's what I would lean towards. This is a setup for her retirement.
Yeah. We shall see. Randy asking in the comments, are fighters frustrated with the UFC? I mean, I'm sure a lot of these guys, it's still their dream job. They're happy, but I'm sure there's a lot of fighters that wish they were making more money, right? I mean, that's any job too. So at the end of the day, Francis certainly is, and Francis is in a position that he can do something about it, and he plans to one way or the other. So I kind of I don't know. I kind of don't want to see him walk away with the title, but I also really wish him luck too. Like, I want him to do well. I can't see him beating like Tyson Fury, but man, even if he was just getting his ass whipped and just caught him or something and shocked the world, like, to a better guy, it couldn't happen. Francis really is a good dude for everything I've seen. So I wish him nothing but the best, even though he's scary and he always struck me as the guy who might actually kill somebody in the UFC.
Yeah.
I wish him luck. All right, Chevy, anything else you want to talk about, or you want to hit us what's coming up next?
Yeah, no, I think that's it for this week. So next week we're gonna be doing our best boxers of the 90s. So get those lists in. It's a good era. Then on the 5th of February, we're going to be doing UFC Fight Night, Hermanson versus Strickland. Then after that, on the 12th of February, it's going to be UFC 271, Adesanya versus Whitaker.
And that'll be it, guys. All right. Big stack show this weekend, at least in terms of the main event and co-main event. I'm excited. Check it out, UFC 270. And we'll be back next week talking fighters of the 90s. And I'm sure we'll probably review some of that stuff that happened on this card. All right, guys. We're out.